Hello everyone. So I'll be dealing with critical reasoning today. What is a critical reasoning? I'm sure many of you have come across this word or this topic for the first time. So we are going to be going in a little length as all the topics we have done, but this is going to be with more examples. All right. So criticize. What do we mean by criticizing, or what do we mean by being critical of something? On a very generic basis, criticizing or being critical about something is saying something bad about somebody. But that is not necessarily the case. Criticizing or being critical about something is observing something to the minutest. What does the author want to say? What do I want to say? What do you want to say? So just being very analytical and just taking out the conclusions of it, just making some assumptions or just inferring a few of the sentences. So that is being critical. All right. So criticizing or critical doesn't necessarily have to be a very negative sentence all the time. So let us see what critical reasoning is all about. I just want you guys to follow what is happening. Maybe at the first you do not understand this, for which we are going to be having some sessions that you can clarify your doubts. But as of now, as of today, you just need to hear like this father tells their children. You just need to hear me like that. No questions asked, no confusion. Just take every statement as I say. All right, just try to grasp whatever I'm telling you. So critical reasoning is a disciplined thinking. It is like thinking in a courtroom with evidences. The entire process of critical thinking is like a scenario in the courtroom. So, what do we mean by this? That whatever we say over here, or whatever we think, or whatever is the nature of the sentence, it has to be backed by evidences. Alright? That is the bottom line. We have to have an argument at a logical level rather than an intuitive level. We resolve the RC at an intuitive level or with our gut feeling. But with a maths problem, we apply all the logics and and then answer the question. So what do we do in a reading comprehension? We go with the gut feeling. We go with the intuitive feeling that okay, this must be what the author wants to say. But when we are doing a maths problem, we have to apply a logic. We have to apply a formula to it. For example, what comes to your mind if I say the word fan? So, for different people, there must be a different answer. For me, it can be an electronic device, or for somebody, it can be air, or for somebody, it can be a round or shaped machine, or for somebody, it can be a relief. It can be anything, all right? So, it is just an inference or an assumption that you take out of a sentence. Critical thinking plays with your mind. You have to think at the grassroots level. Everything needs to be justified in critical thinking. Logical opinions, hold back intuitive opinions. Everything needs to be backed by evidence. You need to hold back the intuitive opinions that does not count over here. You just have to have an evidence for everything. For example, read the sentence. R1 represents reason 1, R2 represents reason 2. Narendra Modi is a good prime minister. That is your statement. The reason 1 is because he's a good leader. Reason 2 is Manmohan Singh was a bad prime minister. What do you think is the reason? Well, according to me, reason 1 goes with my sentence over here, that because he's a good leader, Narendra Modi is a good prime minister. Just because Manmohan Singh was a bad prime minister does not mean that makes Narendra Modi a good prime minister. Alright, so the logical reasoning, the evidence that backs up with it is because Narendra Modi is a good leader and not because Manmohan Singh was a bad prime minister. Okay, so this critical reasoning includes a lot of things like arguments, premise, conclusions, assumptions, assertions, reason, strong and weak argument. Let us see what these are. What is an argument? First of all, an argument can be a logical text of a word, even a simple word, a group of words, a paragraph or many paragraphs, sentence or many sentences, or a complete passage, or in itself a book. All right, that is what an argument is about. It is backed by evidence. You will be given a flawed means a full of flaws sentence, arguments, and you will be given options to choose from and make it less flawed. For example, sentence 1. Guys, just follow through the example. Sachin ate an apple and he won the Man of the Match award. Is this a logical argument? Do you think that Sachin would eat an apple and that is why he won the Man of the Match? No, I don't think so. Is this a logical argument? Not according to me. So, sentence 2. Sachin scored a century, therefore, he won the Man of the Match award. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, I think that makes more sense. We are not making the perfect argument. We are only trying to make the argument better and logical and with less flaws. Another simple example to make you understand better is that whichever lawyer presents his logical argument better wins the case. As simple as that. What is a premise? Premises are facts, reasoning, assertions, given scenarios, basis for something. A fact can always be verified. It is always a black or white zone. There is no gray area. Example, I like tea. Is this a fact? Example, Sachin is the best player. Is this a fact? In the previous example of Sachin, it cannot be taken as a fact. What is the criteria that Sachin is the best? On what basis are we claiming that he is the best? Is there a say of majority by the people? Example, sun rises from the east. This is a fact where everyone will agree. So there is a majority of people around the world who believe in this fact. But if we change the sentence into this, according to statistics, Sachin is the best player. Can this sentence be called a fact or can it be verified? Yes, we do not have to worry about how, as the statement mentions. According to the statistics, it is already mentioned and verified in the sentence by the author. To conclude, premise is a fact, premise is an assertion, premise is a basis, premise is a reason. If the author has mentioned in the sentence about a sentence to be true, you have to consider it as a fact. There is no other debate that you will have. Conclusions. The most important part of a text is the conclusion. An argument is made and started to reach to a conclusion. Conclusions are compressions. All arguments are narrowed down to bring it to a conclusion or the crux of a text. It is a summary of the argument. Assumptions. Assumptions are the missing link between the premise and the conclusions. Assumptions are never stated in the argument, only implied. Assumptions are an additional premise to fit back into the argument to make it more logical and convincing. Let us take an example. Jack did not feed his dog, therefore Tommy must be hungry. I'll read the sentence again. Jack did not feed his dog, therefore Tommy must be hungry. Let's break the sentences into three parts. Jack did not feed his dog, that is a premise. Therefore is the connecting word. Tommy must be hungry is the conclusion. Tommy, the assumptions. Let us see the assumptions. Assumption 1 is Tommy is Jack's dog. That is an assumption. Assumption 2, Tommy needs food daily. Of course, that is the assumption that we are making. Assumption 3, no one else feeds Tommy. Jack knows everything about CAT and MBA admissions because he has been working for us since the company was established since 2009. Therefore, he will be the best choice for this position. Okay. Sentence 1. Jack knows everything about CAT and MBA admissions. That is the premise. Sentence 2. Because he has been working for us since the company was established since 2009. Statement 3. Therefore, that is the connector. Statement 4. Statement 3 was therefore the connector. Statement 4. He will be the best choice for this position. That is the conclusion. Let us simplify this example. Jack has knowledge because of his prior experience. You do not need to ask why he has knowledge, as the author already stated that he has experience of work since the company was established in 2009. So do not question that. Therefore, the conclusion is that he is the best for the position. Next, thorough knowledge is required for the position. That is the assumption that we are making. A2, no one else has a better chance to get this position. Statement and arguments, assertions and reasons, and statements and conclusions. This is how your exams would contain your questions. So we have broadly divided it into three categories, and let us see what every category has to say. Statement and arguments. You will be given one statement and two arguments. You have to find out which is a strong argument and which is a weak one. Whatever is given in the statement is always true. You have to consider logic, morals, ethics, general knowledge to a certain extent. Argument has to be practical. Example: the distance between USA and Japan is too high. Argument 1: man should have wings to fly from US to Japan or Japan to US. Argument 2: more efficient aircraft should be made to reach in lesser time. Okay, guys, as we do this, please in your heads just start thinking or have a logical reasoning to what is a weak argument and what is a strong argument. Okay, strong arguments, we have categorized that security of a nation is a strong argument, development of a country, if it is mentioned, is a strong argument, universal truths are always strong arguments, instructions from superior authorities or references are always strong arguments, facts based on experience, again strong arguments, lastly educational development. Let's see what are weak arguments. Over exaggerations or assumptions are weak arguments. Words like these, nothing, every, all, over, these are weak arguments. Comparison is a weak argument anywhere. Ambiguous, weak argument. Have explained arguments, again a weak argument. Advantages and disadvantages of something, again a weak argument. Okay, let us do this some of the exercises with examples so that you guys have a clearer idea of how this goes. Exercise: statement. You will be given one statement and you are going to be given two arguments. Okay, 1 and 2. We have to decide if only the first argument is strong, if only the second is strong, if either of them is strong, or if neither of 1 or 2 is strong, or if both 1 and 2 are strong. Okay, should military training be made compulsory in our country? Your first argument is yes, every child should go through this training. Second, no, it is not compulsory in US. Okay, let us come to the first one. So now let us categorize this. Should military training be made compulsory in our country? That means they're talking about our country, that is India. The first argument is yes, every child should go through this training. Okay, I agree too that every child should go through this training. But is this a strong statement? No, I don't think so, because every child has his own capacity, every child has his own limitations. There can be some impaired children or some handicapped children or some children that may not be able to go through this training, so that does not make it compulsory that every child should go through this. So I don't think this is a strong statement. No, it is not compulsory in USA. So we are not talking about USA. There is no comparison to USA. There is no reference that we are talking about USA. So for me, answer 1A, B, C, D. If neither 1 nor 2 is strong, neither of the statements are a strong statement. Alright, so this is how you go about it. You go logical about it. Let us do the second statement. Should abortion be legalized in India? Okay, your argument 1 is yes, it is legal in many countries. No, abortion is also kind of a murder. Okay, first of all, yes, it is legal in many countries. Of course, it is legal in many countries, but after a point in time, as everybody must be aware, that abortion cannot happen, so you cannot be going ahead with that procedure. The second, so I don't think that in the first statement makes any sense, because we cannot be comparing it to other countries. Again, it is a comparison, so this does not make sense. It is not a strong statement. Second, no, abortion is also kind of a murder. If I go ethically, then of course. But if, just imagine if a woman is suffering, or if she has an issue, a medical issue, and you need to go ahead with it, then you cannot be calling it a murder, right? That is the right thing to do at that point in time. So again, for me, A, B, C, and D. If neither 1 nor 2 is a strong statement. Alright, so I hope that you guys are getting the knack of it. Next, let us go with the assertion and reason. Assertion is a confident and forceful statement of fact or belief. Reason, the logical reason behind the assertion. So this is how your questions are going to be. 2 sentences will be given as assertion and reason in each of the question. You have to mark your answer. If both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. If both A and R are true and R is not the correct explanation of A. If A is true and R is false. If A is false and R is true. If both A and R are false. Let's make it simpler. Okay. The first statement. The Indian Constitution was adopted on 26th of November 1949. The reason is the Law Day is celebrated on 26th of November. So is the reason in relation to our statement? Let us see what we have. The Law Day is celebrated on 26th of November because the Constitution was adopted on 26th of November. So both the statements are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Answer is option B. Alright. The option B was if both A and R are true, but and R is not the correct explanation of A. Alright. Let's see the second sentence. A void contract is not necessarily illegal. The reason, every illegal contract is void. Both statements are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So our answer again is both the statements are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. A void contract is not necessarily illegal. A void contract does not have to be illegal. It can be void or it can be cancelled because of any reason. Alright, that's a statement in itself. Every illegal contract is void. Not necessarily that every illegal contract has to be void. There are some illegal contracts that are made, but they are abided by it. So the R is not the correct explanation of A. Next, assertion. In India, females have higher life expectancy than males. Reason, females receive a better diet. Okay, let's see if both A and R are true. R is the correct explanation. I'm not going to read all the options. Let's see. The answer is E. If both A and R are false. In India, females have higher life expectancy than males. Okay, who said that? There are no statistics that show that. There is no backup to this statement, so I'm going to negate this statement. Females receive a better diet. Says who? According to that, according to what is that statement based on? So again, our answer is that both these statements are false. Okay, next. Appendix is a vestigial organ in human body. Okay, the reason is it does not participate in digestion. Our answer is A if both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Appendix is a vestigial organ in a human body. That is a correct statement. Second, the reason for it is correct. It does not participate in digestion, as all of us must be knowing that appendix has nothing to do with the digestion part of it. Alright. But of course, as a reason A, appendix is a vestigial organ. It is an important organ of the human body. Next, Himalayas used to lay under the sea. Fossils of many marine creatures are traced on the Himalayas. I am reading this again. Himalayas, the assertion is Himalayas used to lay under the sea. Reason, fossils of many marine creatures are traced on the Himalayas. The answer is A if both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Alright, I am sure everybody has understood the reasons. Of course, there are many marine creatures that are traced on the Himalayas because Himalayas used to lay under the sea. Alright, so there has to be marine creatures inside that. Next, Shivaji developed the guerrilla warfare. The reason for it is Shivaji feared the Mughals. The answer is B if both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. So Shivaji developed the guerrilla warfare. That is a fact. That is true. We all know about it. Shivaji feared the Mughals. He may have feared the Mughals. We are not denying that, but that does not mean that that is why he had developed the guerrilla warfare. All right. So again, our answer is B. Let us come to statements and conclusions. Conclusions will not be drawn on the basis of logic or general knowledge. Conclusion drawn only based on the statements given. You do not need to assume over here. Question 1. Statement. Teacher scolded Ram in front of all the students. The conclusion is the teacher disliked Ram. Okay. We will not assume that the teacher disliked Ram. Maybe Ram was misbehaving. Maybe Ram was late for school. That does not say anywhere that the teacher disliked Ram. So conclusion is false. Second, many people have been admitted in the hospital. It is assumed that junk food is poisonous. What is the conclusion that we take out of it? Junk food is always poisonous. Let's see what we have. We do not presume. Cannot presume that junk food is always poisonous. So the answer is conclusion is false. Alright, the junk food can be harmful, but it cannot be poisonous until and unless there is a big mishap that has happened. Many medicines contain fish oil. Conclusion: all the vegetarians are also pescatarians. Pescatarians are people who eat fish, alright? Our second conclusion. Now see that there are two conclusions over here. Some vegetarians consume such medicine to cure their diseases. First conclusion is false, second conclusion is true. No morality or ethics. So, many medicines contain fish oil, that we already know, that is a statement. We are not questioning that. We do not question the statement ever. Whatever the question is, the statement is given, we need to abide by that. Conclusion 1. All the vegetarians are also pescatarians. Not necessarily. Many vegetarians do not eat fish, but many do. But that is not a correct statement. Some vegetarians consume such medicines to cure their disease. There can be many vegetarians who would feel that, okay, fine, this medicine has fish oil, but then I have no other option, I will have to take that. So then that does not break of him being a vegetarian. Alright? So we cannot be going by the morality of a sentence or a conclusion or a ethics of a conclusion. Alright? Next, this is how your questions are going to be. Only conclusion 1 follows, only conclusion 2 follows. Either 1 or 2 follow. Neither 1 nor 2 follow, both 1 and 2 follow. So you will be having one statement and 2 conclusions. Let us do some more examples. Sham is one of the probable students for securing first rank in the class. I have 2 conclusions. Sham will secure first rank. Sham will not secure first rank. Probable student, he is a probable student. Either 1 will follow or 2 will follow. So the answer is number 3. Our conclusion number 3, our answer number 3 was either 1 or 2 follows. It has to be either Sham will secure a first rank or Sham will not secure a first rank. There are only 2 options. So this is how we go. Next, an advertisement: 50% off on all electronic goods up till 31st of January. Conclusion: after 31st of January, no discount will be provided. No sale of electronic goods after 31st of January. Okay, so this is a very, very interesting sentence. Let me read out the sentence for you again. An advertisement which said 50% off on all electronic goods up till 31st of January. Conclusion: after 31st of January, no discount will be provided. My second conclusion: no sale of electronic goods after 31st of January. Conclusion 1. I have stated C1 as conclusion 1. Not true, as it mentions 50% till 31st of January. Maybe after 31st, 10 or 60% will be provided. So we are not going to go with that statement. C2, that is conclusion 2, not talking about not selling, only talking about discount. So answer is 4, neither 1 nor 2 follow. Okay, so our answer is number 4, neither 1 nor 2 follow. Statement, exercise number 3. Statement: high IQ is important to be a scientist. Conclusion: the average student should not aspire to be a scientist. All highly gifted students become scientists. Let's see what we have. Conclusion 1. No morals or ethics required. Only students with high IQ should aspire to be scientists. C2. Not true that only gifted students can become scientists. Answer 1. Only conclusion 1 follows. Let's do this. Let me read it out again. High IQ is important to be a scientist. The average student, your conclusion 1 is the average student should not aspire to be a scientist. My conclusion 2 is all highly gifted students become scientists. C1. No morals or ethics required. Only students with high IQ should aspire to be scientists. We cannot say that. There have been many people who are not like they have a very good IQ or high IQ and they end up being scientists. So we cannot defy that. Conclusion 2, not true that only gifted students can become scientists. So that is also not true. Not what is a gift? It does not make sense. So only conclusion 1 follows. Next. Okay, so we are done with this. I'll be giving you many examples when we meet online together, but in the meantime many sentences are given in your notebooks, in your books that you have. Please exercise, please just practice that, because this is not going to come in a day. You will have to keep practicing. Alright, so please just pay a lot of attention to this. It's a very, very interesting thing to do, and I'm sure that you guys are going to have fun once you have all that it takes to be critical about a sentence, you will be able to crack it in no time. So please start practicing, and I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.